Bonjour peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page and the daily live stream where we chat about the card draw for the day, the energy that's important for us to know about. And today's Saturday, September 1st, and I have to say, it's hot and humid here. It's not like 90 degrees or anything like that, but the humidity is pretty high. Yeah. Hey, Elise and Rochelle, glad you're here. Good afternoon. Yeah, today feels really scattered. As you can tell, it's like Sunday hair on Saturday and no makeup. We've been preparing for the puppy, and so I had to take this morning to do the last minute stuff. I wanted to vacuum clean and double check puppy proofing some things and that kind of thing, and helping mom with her stuff too. And so it was kind of a little bit busy day. We went to go pick up the new puppy. His name is George, and he's a golden lab. His mother is golden retriever, and his dad is a yellow lab. And yeah, I was going to bring him up here with me, but he was sleeping. He was. I think we just all the new stuff, and missing his siblings. He's got 8 other brothers, and so I think missing them and that sort of thing. So he's sleeping right now. Paul said he'll bring him up when he wakes up. Hopefully it'll be before we end the live stream, so you can all meet him. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle. Nellie says, "Love George." I know, he's such a cutie. Yeah, Rochelle saying, was wondering if you're going to do a show today. Yeah. I usually do it at 2:00, but we went to go get George at 1, and I didn't know how things are going to play out, but they're only 15 minutes away, but I didn't know how things were going to flow. And so I wanted to give us plenty of time rather than rushing, right? Yes, and then there's George. Hey, Cindy Lynn, so glad you're here. I know, she said he's adorable. I know, he's so cute. And it's always fun to anticipate what they're going to look like as they start to grow, right? He's just 8 weeks, and so we'll see, if he's more lab or more golden retriever, and if he has feathers or not. And I think his coat's going to be a little bit darker. Because his ears are kind of a darker. I was calling him French vanilla. It's a little bit darker, So his mother is more of a reddish golden retriever, and so I think he's going to be closer to her coloring. I think we'll see. We'll have to watch together, right? How things with George unfolds. So I hope you're enjoying your Saturday. I was just saying here, it's really kind of muggy. It's not like 90 degrees kind of hot. I'm just going to check the temperature here. Yeah, it's 68. No, I'm sorry, 77 degrees. 77 degrees. So that's not warm at all, right? But the humidity is really high. It's 72% humidity. And yeah, I mean, just being busy trying to get through all the stuff that needed to get done this morning. I didn't have time to do anything but take a shower, and didn't do anything really with my hair. Put a little product in it, but that's about it. And so with the humidity, my hair tends to do what it wants to do anyway, right? I think anybody with naturally curly hair has that issue. We just learn how to roll with it most of the time, right? So today's card draw, actually, I should probably show the book one more time. This is the deck that we've been using, Sacred Geometry Oracle Deck by Francine Hart. And it was published in 2001. I purchased it in 2002, and I have been using it since then. We're on our last 2 cards out of the deck. Yeah, and so I probably won't be doing a live stream tomorrow. I don't know. Paul wants me to take Sunday and Monday off, and I might just do that and come back on Tuesday. When I am back, we're going to be using a different deck. I haven't selected which one yet. Haven't done that yet. But we'll be on a different deck next week. So this is the first card that came. of the two, divine doorway, and take a look at that. There's lots going on in this card, lots. There's the lotus flower, and if you see right in the middle, it's kind of like a flash of light right in the middle. And then you have this angel with his wings out, and kind of encompassing that swirl right there. Divine doorway. And Francine, when she writes about this, I tell you what, I thought, oh, that is so cool. Because listen to what she has to say about it. She says, doorways and portals make it possible to access other dimensions. And she says, beneath the color scheme of this painting lies a sacred number matrix borrowed from the calendar of the ancient Maya. The water lilies represent your potential for enlightenment. The angelic figure is offered as guardian and guide as you move through this doorway to realms you have yet to discover. She says that this card invites us to contemplate a doorway or a divine center. And the doorway will lead past the constraints of the third dimensional reality to a place of truth within. She says, ask your guides and teachers to assist you in moving to a quiet place where you will be ready to receive exactly the information you need at this moment. And then listen to the voice of your intuition. She says, pay attention to any images or messages you receive, no matter how cryptic or obscure they may seem. To observe how you feel in your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies as you return to this reality, and respectfully acknowledge the gifts of inner sight. Yeah. When I read that, I thought, to me, it reminds me of when we do the meditation to go to the sacred space of our heart and the tiny space of our heart. In the tiny space of our heart, we are in a place of oneness. There is no duality there. There's no fear. It's an immense amount of love, and that's what that reminded me of. And to be able to go into that dimension, right? To do that kind of travel, that soul traveling. And basically what she's asking us to do is to go into our center, into our real self, the place where we are our true essence, and to listen to the information that we need right now in our development, in our soul growth. Yeah. Cindy's saying, I so needed your show today. Lots of emotional and stuff, just overflowing. Yeah, you know what, Cindy Lynn, it seems to me, me included, it seems to me that we're kind of on an emotional overload. And ever since the full moon, actually, for me anyway. And in fact, I've had a few phone calls from students and clients about the emotional overload. And what's been helpful for me is to bring up that grandmother earth energy, and sit in the nurturing of her immense love that she has for us, and allow her to take whatever grief, whatever sadness, whatever is bringing the emotions, let her take it, and transmute it for us. And if you can't get outside to do that, then, sit on your deck, sit on your porch. And if that's not possible, then just bring images of her that you just really love, and ground to her. Yeah, it's been helpful. The other thing's been helpful is drinking water, because that's grandmother's lifeblood. Water is life. And so when we take in the water, we're connecting to her by taking her in our own body. And so truly it is a sacred moment, especially when you put your intention to it, your conscious awareness to it, and asking her to please assist you in stabilizing the emotions and to learn about them, why they're there, because they're here for a reason, right? And so if we turn our attention to it and ask for help, for clarity on it, you can ask your spiritual team too, to help you to understand it. And if there's anything that you can do to make it a little bit more comfortable or a lot more comfortable, and they can give you some information on that. And that's what I'm doing right now. This is tea in here. And so I brewed myself some dandelion tea. I was going to do chamomile, but I'm tired enough and I don't want to end up sleeping because we're going to need help with the puppy thing, right? So, so I did some dandelion tea with a little stevia. Elise is saying, Elise is saying, wish we were closer. My last dog was the super fastest to train. She went into puppy pad right away, and then within a week she was trained. Never had a dog that learned that quickly. Oh, I know. And we did once before when the first dog Paul and I had together, her name was Sugar. And she was a sweetie. She was a mixed breed too. She was a sweetie. About the time she was 5 or 6, we had another dog, Spice, another female, and they got along great. Spice was one of those pet store puppies, and I couldn't leave her there. I just couldn't do it. I went back and I got her, cleaned her up, and she didn't live very long, but we used to tease that was Sugar's dog. But let me tell you, Spice was the easiest one we ever had to train. Why? It's because Sugar's the one that taught her everything. When Sugar went out to go to the bathroom, so did the puppy. And so, that was really the easiest one we had. And so it's been a while. It's been, let's see, Ginger walked on when she was 13, and she's been gone 4.5 years. So that's 17 years since we've had a puppy. So it's like a whole new world, right? And Rochelle is saying, I just opened my deck and book of sacred geometry. Oh, good. Opened your deck of sacred geometry. Good one. I hope you like them. I really do. They've been very helpful to me over the years. Elise says, you deserve time off. Go and play with a new baby. Oh, thank you. And Cindy said, I'm sitting outside as a storm is forming. Feels good. Oh, I know. Isn't it? To sit out there and you can feel the change in the air and you can hear the distant rumbling sometimes, and just before it starts to rain, you can feel the shift in the air and everything kind of goes quiet just for a moment. And then it starts to rain. And I think that our relatives, the four-legged and those who fly, they already know it's coming, right? And so I think that they just kind of get hunkered in and to wait it out. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do too. So with the divine doorway, basically is Francine is inviting us to go through this portal into the center of ourselves, and it's rather like meeting with your higher self. But you're not doing that in this reality. You're doing it in another dimension. Let's say it's the 5th dimension, right? Is to meet our higher self there and to garner information, ask questions. There's a message there many times for us, and so it is listening when they're describing things to us or the feelings of it, right? Yeah. So and I'm going to suggest that we do that, especially when we're going through emotional stuff like we have been, right? And at first I thought mine had to do with, and it does have something to do with having this new baby, this new fur baby, and bringing all those memories of Ginger back, right? And we did get out of storage some of Ginger's stuff to use for the new baby, and I thought I was going to get emotional at that time, and I didn't. And it wasn't until we were just ready to go pick him up that I was starting to feel, that it's a part of grief, but it's not really sadness either. But there's that feeling of a grief in there yet, and try not to project too far forward, because they're here with us for really a short period of time, and so I'm just trying to stay in the moment and enjoy the moment, right? Yeah, and to get grounded. We do so much better when we're grounded. Elise says we're having storms too. Just hope they're a little less severe than the last ones. Oh my gosh, I was kind of scrolling through Facebook just before I came up here. I was sitting on the floor with George, and he kind of walked between. I was kind of leaning up against the recliner, and so there was a little gap between my lower back and the recliner, and he kind of crawled in there and was asleep between me and the recliner. And so I didn't move too much, hoping he was going to sleep for a little bit. And I was just scrolling through Facebook, and some of those pictures, oh my goodness, of the storm damage. Where's Baldwin? Michigan. Some of those pictures were pretty dramatic. And I thought to myself, that was certainly a tornado that went through there. That was not wind shears. That was a tornado. Just looking at how the trees were mangled, Yeah. So I'm just glad that many of us in the Star Nations community that live over in that area, you guys were safe. And I hadn't heard anything about any huge storm damage, like houses, that kind of thing. We had one person here in Wisconsin. They have a tiny creek. It's an unnamed creek that runs through their property. And with all that rain that happened a few days ago, she said she went outside, and because it was raining, and she could see the water coming up in the creek. And so she says, oh, we're going to get some more water coming down. And she just made it around the house. And in the their sliding door for the basement, the walk-in basement. And she said water was starting to come through one of the windows. And she literally, it's like a flash flood, right? And so she made it up the stairs. And when she looked out the bay window out to the creek, she said it was like a huge river, and there was a current running through it. And so it happened very, very quickly. So yeah, Rochelle said is 11 miles west of Reed City. Okay, so I'm not familiar with with Michigan at all. You're gonna have to give me like Grand Rapids area, or is it Big Falls? No, Big Rapids, Lansing, Detroit. give me a little idea of where that is around in the state. Lisa says 5 tornadoes have been confirmed. Yeah, I believe that. She says Rochelle says about 40 miles east of Lake Michigan. Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah. Well, and now it's the cleanup work, right? And that's a lot of muscle. A lot of muscle to cut up the trees and get them removed, and some people just do the minimal and just let nature take care of whatever it's going to do, All right, so here's the second card. The second card is Echoes of One. Echoes of One. Let's see if we can do that. See the 2 circles, or actually there's 4 of them, right? And how they form the vesica piscis here as they do the overlap. And how in the artistry, the vesica piscis is where the creation happens. It's that spark of life and light. And so to have the people placed within that, there's a lot of energy there. A lot of energy. Yeah. And Francine, she says, the echoes of one is about the greater whole, WHOLE. The card's a symbol of rejoining of male and female energies. It uses the concept of two whole individuals joining or birthing into a dynamic oneness. This new creation is not male or female dominated, but a prayer of balance for a greater whole. So it's really about balancing the male and female energies. And I think that should start within ourselves first, and so that the energy around us begins to shift and change. Because when we're in balance that way, the energy around us begins to balance out as well. Feng Shui, when we do work for a feng Shui client, the balancing of male and female energies is one of the things that we work toward. And a lot of times it has to do with shape and color and all different ways to be able to remedy that, to bring it into balance. But when we do that within ourselves, we carry it. And so that when we walk into space, no matter what space it is, the energies around us begin to shift and change because we're balanced, right? Because we're balanced. She goes on to say that in each relationship, a dynamic exists that determines the balance of the love and power within that friendship or partnership, and that we're moving from an age where power has been seen as dominance over others in order to attain a specific goal. And she says this is an old paradigm, and we all know that, right? It's an old paradigm, and that as we are in the age of Aquarius, this relationship to power will manifest as co-creation and become power to, not power over. This evolution will take place in individuals who make a conscious choice to cultivate shared power and cooperation. Shared power and cooperation. So we're working together. We're co-creating together. That one is no more valuable than another. They're of the same value, right? And that I would also add respect. Equal respect. She says that this card challenges you to observe relationships in your present life and to ask yourself if they exist in the old manner of power as dominance and manipulation, or if you are learning to cultivate shared visions for your future and the power to create a divine oneness. All right. So when I read that, I thought, okay, this Francine is asking us in these two cards is really to do some more self-reflection, to go to that part of us that is already balanced. That's our soul, our higher self, and to go to the center, to our heart, and to do this kind of inner contemplation, and asking ourselves, what kind of relationships do we nurture? What kind of relationships do we have? Are they balanced? Are they balanced in power too? Are we co-creating, or is there dominance over one person over another? And then those relationships where we do have that old paradigm, because I think we probably all have experienced that, maybe still do, is that we take a look at those relationships and help to understand our part of it, right? Our end of that relationship. And that maybe that is the gateway, that dimensional travel that we do to our inner selves to find more information about those kinds of relationships. Why are we in them? Why is there something in there that is a lesson for us to learn, and so we can let it go? What is it? Why is it? And what's our part in it? And how do we learn how to shift from that old paradigm into the new, which is about co-creation and working together, and that everything has the same value. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? These two cards together, they feel very feminine too, right? When you look at them, that's the feeling I had. Because she's asking us to do the self-reflection. And when we do that, we begin, I think, within the male energies of thought and mind and logic. And then we go into our center. We do that dimensional travel, and we go into our center, and then we do the female aspect of that self-reflection, and ask our higher self about those things. Ask our spiritual team to help us to understand it with more clarity. And so we get the balance between the male and the female, right? But I really think that that's the energy for today, is that self-reflection, that inner journey, and to really take a look at our relationships, our partnerships, and are they a co-creative team, or is it a dominant kind of old paradigm relationship? Yeah. Hey, Sufi Olson, glad you're here. Esperanza's here too. Good afternoon, Esperanza. Glad you guys are with me, us, this afternoon. And so these two cards, this one, Echoes of the One, that was the second card pulled. And so that sits in the card layout in the feminine energy of emotion and intuition, our hearts, Grandmother Earth. And this was the first card, which sits on the right-hand side of the card layout. And that's about the male energies, right? Thought and logic, the brain, mental aspects, and Grandfather Sky. And so when this information comes in that way, it comes in as a whole, holistically. And so we're bringing that information into all of our bodies, for that kind of informational download, right? And this time, Francine is asking us through the card work, to do a dimensional travel, to do that kind of dimensional travel through that gateway to our hearts, our center. And with the second, with this card, the Echoes of One, is to really take a look at our partnerships, our relationships, from that place of our center. Yeah, are they still in the old paradigm? Any of them? And if they are, then how do we shift out of that? How do we shift it into the oneness and working together, co-creation, and both of you, whether it's whoever it is, that it's your value is the same, is equal value. Yeah, sacredness. Cindy Lindsay, makes sense. I think so. I really do. I like the artwork on these cards too. Yeah, here we go. And so, hasn't it been fun using the sacred geometry cards for the card draw information? I think, see, Paul once would like me to take Sunday and Monday off. And I think I probably am going to take one of those days off at least, maybe both. I miss you guys though, when I'm not around. So when I come back to do the next live stream, we'll have a new deck of cards, or a different deck. And I haven't selected which one that is in the decks of cards that I have. I'll do that maybe tonight or tomorrow, and see which one Spirit would like us to use. Now, this next deck is probably going to be more like an interim card deck, because I ordered those new ones, and they should be here like around the 15th or so, and it'll give me a day or two to get familiar with them before we start to use them, right? Yeah. So, do you guys have any plans for Labor Day weekend at all? Obviously, we're going to be working with George. We're going to be doing the puppy thing this weekend with George. We might gonna, most people do cookouts, right? And we might on Labor Day. But no, we're going to have Paul's mom in for supper tomorrow after lunch, probably, I would imagine. Of course, we haven't quite decided that yet either. And both moms love boiled dinners. And so went to the farmer's market, and we have a really nice head of cabbage and potatoes. And so we're going to do, and we have, I think Paul's going to be using ham. And so we're going to make them a boiled dinner. Not your typical Labor Day cookout, that's for sure. You're welcome, Sufi. Sufi is saying just organizing and clearing. Yes. Yeah. And what better time, right, than to take a look at our relationships, and are they still in the old paradigm? Which ones are? Do we have any that are? And if we do, how do we shift those particular relationships into the new energy? Working from our hearts, how do we do that shift with that particular relationship? Cindy says, I love them, and you both have been so helpful as always for me. Oh, thank you, Cindy. And I'm glad that we were able to help, even in a small way. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Hey, Mary Anderson Fry just joined us. Hey, Mary. And Cindy Lynn says, no plans here at all. Yeah, a lot of people travel during this weekend. We get a lot of people coming up from Illinois or over from Minnesota. And I don't know where Wisconsin people go. I know that we don't go to Illinois. we don't travel south. Some of us do go to Minnesota. Some of us go to the UP if we're going to travel close to home. And so, yeah, a lot of traveling, a lot of interstate travel. But nope, we're staying home, and we're doing the furry baby thing this weekend. Yeah, I get that started anyway. Puppy proofing a house. I thought I was pretty good at that stuff, but every time I turned around, it's like, God, geez, we gotta get the plants up off the floor, and that kind of stuff. Things, things and outlets, wires and that kind of thing. Electrical stuff. Taking a look at that, and yeah, puppet proofing. Getting all the gates done. Oh my gosh, getting off the kitchen, getting off the from the living room, getting off mom's space, and getting the gates up. Elise says, no plans here. My next plan are for Toma, Wisconsin. Yay! And cheese curds. Yay! We'll have to do that. We'll have to make sure. Well, I think I'm going to take you to the cheese house anyway. We'll do a road trip over there because it's not that far. It's like maybe 2 miles from here. Yeah, we'll do a trip to the cheese house. Although that particular one is not my favorite one. My favorite one is on the interstate, just north of Madison, in a town called DeForest. And that particular cheese place is my favorite one. That's the one I always stop at whenever I go to Michigan, because I usually have friends, their list of what they want from the cheese place. And so that's usually where I stop to get that. They have, I don't know why, it's just, their cheese is just about the same, but I think it's the layout of the store and just the energy there, in the DeForest one. Yeah. So Mary's saying, I hope we get to see those pics of George soon. I know I just posted one of Paul and him. I just posted one. I just took another one when he was sleeping, you know. And I was kind of hoping Paul was going to make it up here before we ended the live stream, depending on when George was going to wake up. So I thought I'd give him a chance. I'll send him a text. I don't know. He could be walking up here with him. And if I text him, he's either way. If he's driving, he's not going to take it, and if he's walking, it's going to be kind of hard for him to look at it. But I can try. Coming up here with George. Did I tell you how we got his name? I think I did. George. Well, we knew that we were going to be getting another dog. We thought that maybe it was going to be a rescue. Really, we tried very hard because we wanted to have another golden retriever, and it was okay if it was a mix, but we wanted to have another golden retriever. And we tried 2 different retriever rescues. One we never heard back from, and the other they were kind of difficult to work with. And so anyway, we knew that we wanted to have another dog, and I knew it was going to be a boy. I knew it was going to be a male, because whenever I had dreams about dogs turning into little boys, or little boys turning into dogs, shape shifting, and so I knew. And the soul that we called Ginger, we knew that she was going to be coming back, because she and I had this talk the last day we were together. And see, now I'll start crying. And so anyway, we knew that it was going to be a male. And Paul and I were just kind of playing around with names, because we've always named our dogs after a spice of some sort, right? And well, Paul goes, what kind of name could we have for a male that's a spice, And he's like, Cajun spice, pepper, that kind of stuff. And I was cleaning out our spices, and I knew that we had to do some replacement of some things. And so I said, hey, we need bay leaf, because it was like toward the last fall or so. And Paul goes, hey, that'd be a good name for a boy dog, Bayleaf. And we were talking about that, just joking around. And he says, that reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life movie. And he says, George Bayleaf. So it kind of stuck. It kind of stuck. That's how we got George. And yeah. So funny how names comes up like that. Yes, it is a wonderful life. It really is. And I just texted Paul. He says, I'm trying. I think we might not be able to do George today. We'll make sure that we get him on with me on Tuesday for sure. On Tuesday for sure. Because I don't want to keep you guys just kind of hanging out just because we're waiting on George. And my mother, okay, so I took George in to meet Mom, and she goes, oh my gosh, he is so little. How many weeks is he? And I said, well, he's just 8 weeks old. She goes, oh, he really is a baby. And so she was talking to him and saying, you look like you could be a naughty one, teasing, And what did she call him? He got his very first nickname from her, Prince George. Prince George. So Paul and I were saying, okay, so his full name, George Bayleaf Locotts, Prince of the Driftless region, because we live in Driftless. And it was so funny. So he got his first nickname from my mom. So he's going, what is a spiritual Native American name? Yeah, we could have done that. But, we've always had this, it's kind of like a tradition. With the very first dog that Paul and I ever had together, her name was Sugar. And then the second dog was Spice. and then the third dog was Ginger, and so there's this little bit of a tradition with it. And if I were going to call him a native name, it would probably have been something like Dakota, but there's so many Dakotas, or something like that, because Dakota, it means friend, right? Yeah, yeah. George, I think, is going to fit him. Really, or we could call him Jorge too. Yeah. Cindy's saying, "Oh, that's cute." Well, I appreciate you guys being with me this afternoon, and with the card draw information. And please remember, any of the information from the card draw, if it resonated with you, oh, great. Grab it, embrace it, use it, right? If it didn't resonate with you, then that's okay too. It wasn't for you, just leave it alone, and well, maybe you're just a messenger. Maybe somebody that would enjoy the information or has been looking for it. Uh-oh, we have a visitor. We have a visitor. George is here. Is he scared? Oh, are you a scared baby? No, you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be a scared little boy. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is George. Look at George. Here's his George. Isn't he cute? He's just a baby. He's a little scared. He's got so many new things today. His first real car ride. I mean, he's been to the vet, but this was his first real car ride, and he had us, brand new. The house, there's a lot of new stuff going on. Yeah. But he's going to have to get used to being up here with me. Because when we do the live streams and things like that, he'll be up here with me. He just woke up too. So, yeah, he's cute. He's a cutie. Yeah. Sufi's saying, I named my dog Spirit. He was abused and lost his spirit. I chose this to call back his spirit. He's doing great now. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Sufi, for doing that too. To be that kind. Yeah. Yeah. So, George, I think George and I are going to sign off. Okay. Yeah. Going to get him situated here. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And I think I'm going to see you guys back on Tuesday, our Tuesday normal time, which is 10 a.m. Central and, 11 Eastern. So, all right. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.